Hi friends, it's Jenny and I am back. This is Becky Foster's channel and I am her sister Jenny and I am going to make a little bit more with you today. Today I honestly just want to play with beads. I love this Gina's Gem Creations GGC treasure bags and we did an unboxing, a joint unboxing on Becky's Friday Night Live late night beading with Becky, where I unboxed the green, the lemon, lime, and mint version, and Becky unboxed the roses and lavender version. And the last I looked, both of these were still available. The update from Gina said that there are a few, or at least there were a few, I don't know if there still are, of the roses and lavender, but there are more of the lemon, lime, and mint version. If you skipped this and then you saw us unbox and says, ooh, I actually really love that, maybe you want to go snag one of those if it's still available. We'll put the link in the description. But I thought that I would do another bracelet trio like I did with the Soft Flex Surf's Up kit. I wanted to make a trio of bracelets from this because one of the things that we talked about when we unboxed was how much I love both of these sets, but also how much I love these colors combined and together. And so I thought, how fun would it be if I made a bracelet with the lemon, lime, and mint box, and a bracelet with the roses and lavender box, and then a third bracelet with something from both boxes just to tie it all together. So I have some ideas. I don't really have a specific plan, like I haven't laid out all of my beads, because that's sometimes how you need to create, is just get in and play with the beads and see what is working or not working. So this one might be a little bit, hit and miss as we try to figure out what we like best. But I've got some great ideas. Let's see which ones look great on this string. So I'm going to move these up and out of the way. I'm going to pull from them. Actually, I'm just going to move them up to this other part of the screen at the moment. Actually, I'm going to start with the green one. So we'll just have this one here. And let's talk a little bit about what other supplies that I'm going to be using. So I am going to be using, forgot to get them out, but I am going to be using some pliers from the Casual Comfort set to open and close jump rings, because that's how I will attach I'm doing magnetic clasps again, like I did with the other trio. And I will also be using the magical crimper. It didn't disappear on me this time, so I'll be using the magical crimper to finish off the bracelets, as well as, some flesh cutters to cut what we've got. I'm going to be stringing on the Soft Flex 925 sterling silver medium beading wire. It's this really light, shimmery, it's more white than silver to me, but it's got this shimmer to it that I think really plays well with these colors and where I'm going with it. I am going to be doing silver findings with this, and I grabbed a couple of spacer options from my stash. Some plain little silver balls and some very small daisy spacers. I may or may not use these, but that was one of the things I felt like I might need, is some metal spacers. So I guess let's get started. Let's see what I love from this. So one of the things that I was thinking of was to go ahead and do a dolphin bracelet, and I love, oh, I just broke my plastic clip on my beading wire. I guess it's a good thing I'm going to use most of this today. I love these little dolphin dudes. They're very cute. I'm going to pull out a few of those. I super love this faceted crystal strand. And so I think that I want to use some of those because I think that they play really well with the silver, and they also just feel like the ocean to me. And I feel like if there's going to be some spacers on either side of these dolphins, I want them to be these. So I've got these. And then, not really to scale. This is where I'm kind of not exactly sure which direction I'm going with it. I could be happy just doing these, but I feel like I need a third element, and it could be these little crystal, kind of sea green crystal bicones. but I almost feel like they're too close, but not quite with that. Oh, it would actually look really pretty though. I've also got, you know, triangle bead mix and some rondelle crystal bead mix that I can pull from. I absolutely love this Amazonite. Maybe I need to use the Amazonite. Maybe that is going to be the star of this bracelet, is to use this Amazonite. Yeah, I think I like that. If I'm going to use crystals, I want them to be these little tiny, almost a dark teal color, and some Amazonite. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out some more of these Amazonite beads. And we're going to just string this on, and it'll just be some dolphins and some water and some kind of soft, soothing greens. I think that's going to be our green strand bracelet, the one that comes from the lemon, lime, and mint. And we're definitely going to be using some other stuff. Don't look at this and be sad and think of all the beads that I'm not using, because we're definitely going to be using some in the combination bracelet. But I feel like this is a really good, simple side bracelet. I want the combination bracelet to be the one that is maybe has a little bit more to it, size-wise and design-wise, because that's kind of the focal bracelet if you're going to stack all three together. But this could be a beautiful bracelet just on its own. So that's kind of what I'm thinking on these. So I'm going to go ahead and just open up one side of this strand because they're so tiny. I want to keep as many on this strand as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull this through. They used one as a bead stop. So I'm going to pull it through and take off a few of these because I know I definitely want to use some of them. I'm not sure how many. We'll start with this many on my mat and go from there. And I am going to string on the spool for now, but I might need some bead stops. So I've got some right here, just because I am near the end of this spool. So it will pull loose at some point, but I think I can get 2 bracelets done from this one strand. I might even get all 3. No, like I could wrap it 3 times around my wrist, but I wouldn't have enough room for all of the crimping that I need to do. So that last one would be a little bit short and too snug. And as we talked about last time I made bracelets, I like mine a bit jangly. So what I know that I need is I've got at the top of my mat here, I don't have the inches, but I do have the metric measurement. I need about 18 centimeters of beaded length for my bracelet so that there's enough room there to make the loop and attach my metal clasp and have it fit the way I want it to be. So I think I'm gonna start in the middle because that's kind of what I do when I'm not exactly sure on my design. And Becky had pointed out when we got these that these dolphins are fantastic. They get threaded this way. So they're leaping and they're swimming. When they're on the strand, they do want to face down like this. So I think I'm not gonna try to turn them different directions. Maybe it's a pod all swimming together off in the same direction in the ocean. And that's what they're called, right? A pod of dolphins? I think so. I think that's what a group of dolphins is called. Yes. Oh, I love these. So I'm going to put, just because I'm probably going to end up using more of these than I pulled off, but that's okay. I'm getting an idea what I like. I like the delicate look of this. Sometimes you just want a really pretty, delicate bracelet. And I am not sure. I'm going to play with the possibility of using some of these spacers. I'm just going to get some of each out to put on either side of my Amazonite rounds and see if I like either of them or none of them. It could be that I like none of them for this design, and that's okay. So this is what the Amazonite looks like with a round silver spacer beside it on either side of it. And it does kind of pull it out and kind of make it a little bit of a star. like that. I think that's what I'm leaning towards. I like the smooth round. Like you've got a lot of rounded shapes with the dolphin itself, and so I think that that's probably what I'm going to do. But just in case, I just want a little bit of flash of silver. I'm checking to see what that looks like with the daisy spacer. And no, I think I'm going to go back to the smooth round, and we're just going to incorporate a little bit of these silver spacers to give them a little bit of something going on. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'll be looking at about 18 centimeters of beaded length, and this is for my 7.5-inch wrist. So depending on what size you're making, you might want to have a shorter or longer beaded length, depending on what size you want, how you want it to fit. These guys are really small. But I'm gonna get another dolphin on here. I love these colors together. I love these colors together. That's perfect. This is exactly what I want this bracelet to be hitting with. So I think I'll do 3 dolphins on the bracelet, just because this is the length and I want them to, I don't want to overdo the dolphins. I mean, can you overdo dolphins? See what this length is with the 2 dolphins and then also 2 of the Amazonite, just so I can get an idea of how long that repeat actually is. So that is about a 4 centimeter, that can't be right. Oh, because I need to have 3 more crystals, then it's a full repeat, like dolphin head to dolphin head. That's the full repeat. I'm like, how can it be 4 and then 7? They're just so tiny. There we go. Okay, yes. So that is 8 centimeters to do a full 2 repeat. So I know I'm gonna want at least another of this on the other side of this dolphin. Okay, so we'll have another repeat there, which means I'm looking at needing about 4 more centimeters in length. And so if I just do more of the stone, if I do that twice more, it looks like I might be just about where I want. I'm gonna put that on, see how long it is, and go from there. Because this is gonna be the smooth inside part of your wrist when you're wearing it. So I do like to design that to be a little bit smoother so that when I'm moving my wrist, I'm not, you know, poking myself with a dorsal fin. And yeah, just get some more. I love Amazonite. I love how smooth and creamy it is. I love that cool minty tone to it. It's such a soothing color stone. It just makes me happy. Let's get. Oh, you know what I didn't get out, but I can get to pretty easily. I did not get my crimp tubes out, but I will get them shortly. They're just going to be some silver crimp tubes from Softflex. Let me see how long this is. That is a little bit too long. I think I need to take the crystal off. because I'm going to end up being too long here. So this was too far. This was too far. Just kind of seeing how it sits on the wrist with the dolphins and whatnot. Yeah, if I'm going to repeat on the other side, I need to take off. Otherwise, it'll just slip right off my wrist. It will be too long of a bracelet. I don't want bracelets too short, but I also don't want them too long. So, and I can always add length later with jump rings. Okay, I do need to add just a little bit more, but not that long. I'm gonna do just a quick little pattern at the end that adds some length that I need without making it too long. It's not going to be a complete repeat. I'm just kind of alternating the crystals with the spacers and then ending on a silver spacer, which will be right up against the silver crimp tube. Ball of crimp once I've got it. That feels like it's probably what I want. But I need to get my crimp tubes, get them out of my findings box. There they are. I'm just looking at this again. I'm going to take those two off. I felt like it was going to be a little bit too long still. If I'm looking for 18 centimeters of beaded length, then this is 9.5, and we've got like this half a dolphin that is basically he counts for both sides. So I'm going to put on my crimp. I'm just going to describe it the first time for any of you who are new. This is Becky and my favorite way to crimp. It is using the magical crimper. The quality of crimp tubes you use is important. It's meant to be used with 2x2 crimp tubes. These are soft flex. There are some other ones that can be good. I think Becky said Beading is good. I'm trying to remember. But you want to make sure that you're using a good quality crimp so that it will do what it needs to without crumpling. So like a decent size wall on that tube is important. I'm just going to take this. It's meant to be used with 0.018 to 0.019 wire, which the medium soft flex is perfect for that. And there's a little concavity inside that you want to put center your crimp tube in it, and then just give it a little gentle squeeze once that's centered. And then it'll pinch the corners like that. And you'll just want to take that and put it up and down, again, centered inside your crimp tube, but up and down so it's 90 degrees from where you started, and give it another little squish. And then you just want to keep squishing until you don't feel any resistance anymore. It might just be a couple of squishes later and you're good, or if you're a little bit unbalanced and you need to tighten it up, you can. If there's a little bit longer section, then just squeeze the opposite. But you just keep squeezing, gentle little squeezes. I think mine is done, but I'm just demonstrating. Rotate that around. And then at the end, you'll have this smooth little ball of crimp that is really strong. And so I don't use crimp covers because it's smooth. And I don't use wire guardians because the nylon coating on the soft flex is very strong and won't make the wire kink. And it just holds up really well. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that over. And now we need the same again, plus room to crimp. So I'm cutting that. And now I'm going to go ahead and put on the other half of my bracelet. And that's using, again, using the same little crystal, tiny little crystal rondelles, the Amazonite and my silver spacer beads, along with my dolphin beads. I keep wanting to call them charms, but they don't dangle. They're just a shaped bead. They're shaped like dolphins who have gone swimming. And again, I'm having my dolphins all swim the same direction, like a little pod, a little family of dolphins. And that was not where he needed to be. There needs to be a few more of these crystals. There we go. Now put my dolphin on. Swimming with his family. Or her family, their family, because I don't know. What is your design process? Like today, I needed to play with the beads. Other days, I really think pretty specifically about what I want to do and where I want to do it. How do you most often create? Do you sit down with your beads in front of you and see what they have to say, or do you plan out all of the beads and where they're going to go? Not that there's anything wrong with either of those options at all. For me, it depends on what I'm making and the mood I'm in. I tried for a while to plan out these bracelets, and I just like, I have ideas. I want to see how they look like on a strand, and rather than try them all out on my own, why not have you here with me and have that be part of the designing process? That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. So what do you do most often? I would imagine that most of us as creators probably do a little bit of both. I need to check my length, my beaded length. Oh, this is going to be exactly right. Once I add on this rondelle and this bead, and I pulled off almost the exact number of crystal rondelles as I needed, the little tiny crystal dudes, because I only need one more. And that is going to be my 18 centimeters of beaded length, which means this is going to fit my wrist quite nicely. I don't want to try that right now because I'll probably drop it and lose my beads. Actually, I can do this. Do that, slide it over my wrist, and then cinch it. See? So this is, if I pull it tight, it is right here, which means if I put that small magnetic clasp in between, it's going to give me exactly the amount of movement that I need. So that's exciting. That's exciting. I'm going to check my pattern and make sure that it doesn't look imbalanced, but I believe that this is exactly what I wanted. I've got 3 dolphins, I've got 6 Amazonites, and I started and ended the same way. Used my spacers in the same places. I didn't miss any spacers or beads. I'm feeling good about this. So I'm going to go ahead and get my other crimp tube put on here. Slide that in. Pull it down by the beads. Get the loop similarly sized to my previous one. Yep, that's good. Make sure I've got a little bit of curve on the bracelet itself. No stiff bracelets, not here. And gonna go ahead and just crimp this guy. Okay. And snip off my excess wire. And then for the clasp, these guys have a little spring ring clasp attached to them, which I do not need. I just need the magnetic portion. So I'm just going to cut this bit off because I don't need it. Oh, and these are, because I'm not sure how strong that's going to be. I think they were, when I did this before, I thought it had a, holy cow, this is a strong magnet, which is great, but also I need to snip this other thing off and get it out of my way. Okay, yes, there it is. And I'm gonna get out some of my own little jump rings. I've got my jump rings in various sizes here. I want these guys, just little guys. I'm gonna use my pliers to open up a jump ring and my little silver jump rings. And I'm going to attach one end of my bracelet and one end of my magnetic clasp, and then close it up and pinch that jump ring just to secure it. Make sure it's closed all the way. And then do a jump ring on the other side. You just swing it open. You don't pull it apart. You just open it like a door. And then do the same thing. Attaching my bracelet, attaching the magnetic clasp, closing it. Little squish this too. So that is, whoops, it attached to my pliers instead of itself. That is my dolphin bracelet, and I'll wear that while we go and make our next bracelet. So I'm gonna go ahead and move these things out of the way, and I'm gonna get into my roses and lavender box, and we're gonna figure out what we want to do for that side. I definitely don't need all of those. Put away these extra crimp tubes. I just opened it and spilled it out because, you know. And I'm moving some of these beads up because I may or may not decide to use some of them in the combination bracelet. But we'll see. So this is the roses and lavender one. And I'm kind of in love with these little fishies, and I'm thinking I might want to make this bracelet be about these fishies. I also really love some of these crystal shapes and these kind of purpley tones that we have elsewhere. I'm pulling out ideas and deciding what I want to do. They may or may not combine well, because this is actually a pink and blue rather than purple, which works out really great with this rondelle mix here. Maybe I'll get some of this rondelle mix out and use some of it. I'll pick and choose. I do have another strand of this rondelle mix from another source. So if I need to, I can get some more, but just getting some of each of those colors out. That first scoop had none of the blue. So get that in there and do that. I also really like these guys. They're a little bit duskier, and I'm not sure if they fit with this bracelet. Part of me also wants to, because I used the gemstones in the green bracelet, use some of these rose quartz. And again, they may not be a great fit with the fish, but maybe this one just needs to have a lot of pretty patterns with it. Get out some of these triangle beads so I can, you know, consider them as well. I'm kind of leaning towards not these guys. They're just a little bit too gray toned, I think, for what I'm doing here. So let's move them back out of the way. This is part of my process. So maybe you'll find it interesting, maybe you find it annoying that I don't know exactly what I want to do. But that is, you know, we all do a little bit differently. I think I have a random dolphin in with my other guys, my starfish. No, I have other ideas for this. I think I'm gonna lean into the fishies. So we'll have dolphins on one bracelet and these fishies on another. Now these fishies are, oh, they don't string tip to tail. They string as if they're like, let me put this in here. They string like this, which is fun, but not actually what I was thinking of doing here. So this may just be more about different shapes and less a theme, like the shapes and colors. So I don't think I want the fish for this one, just because of the way they string. That is interesting. I thought they were tip to tail, but I didn't really look at it that closely. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do rose quartz. I'm gonna accent with some of my spacers, either the same round silver spacers or the daisy spacers. But I'm going to include some of these other colors, like these little guys here. I like that. I like some of these soft colors, but I also like these white creamy colors. I'm gonna get some of those out of the little rondelle mix. And it's not gonna be these crystals, but maybe it's these little crystals. These crystals, I'm gonna get some more of these little white guys out. If I hadn't organized it in the box, that might have been easier, just pull off a strand and separate out what I need, but that's okay. I did this. I'm gonna put these away because that's not the direction I'm going. I don't think any of the triangles are what I'm gonna use either, so I'm gonna move them out of the way. And I'm gonna put these out of the way as well. Now that I've got, let's see if I've got 10 of the white ones. Make that work. So I've got these guys. I'm gonna get more of these because I think I will use them. I'll use them as spacers. I might still incorporate a little bit of the silver, but it'll be like a little bit dressing up. just to add a little bit of extra sparkle. These guys do kind of actually go with what I've kind of narrowed it down to. So maybe both of my side bracelets, the ones that are just individually from each box, maybe they are going to include the same element besides just the stone. Okay, let's get this on a string. Let's see what we think of it. Okay, get this opened up and a few of these spilled out. This is just going to be pretty and sparkly and pink. And how fun is that? Pretty and sparkly and pink with some of the lavender to ground it. Start with that much. And this one, because I'm not really having any kind of focal design like with when I did with the dolphins, I feel like I can start on one end and just keep going. So I'm going to play around with a little bit of the possible choices on my strand before I really get going. I kind of want to see how these guys work. So if I do, for example, one of these little purple guys, and then a daisy spacer, a rose quartz, another daisy spacer, and these are really just tiny little daisy spacers. Another one of these guys. Maybe I will start in the middle and kind of go from there. Yeah, okay, so the daisy spacers work well with this. So then from here, if I use some of these kind of rosaline tiny crystal rondelles to separate that. Similar to what I did on the other side, I'm using 3 at a time. I do like a certain amount of symmetry. I don't want to make the same bracelet twice with the two different things. I want this to be separate. So then we get a white, it's kind of a milky color rondelle, and then get this. See, I thought I would use more of those purple, but I'm not. I'm just using them on either side of the rose quartz. But wow. See, this is why sometimes I just have to play with beads, because when I start putting it together, I often surprise myself on how well I like an idea. So this is one repeat of my current pattern. Come on. And it includes using the little purple, I guess they're rondelles. They're just smooth rondelles instead of faceted, on either side of the rose quartz. And then I have my special pink crystal with faceted rondelles on either side of it, also separated with the same daisy spacers. And then we've got the small rosaline crystal rondelles, the tiny ones, to separate them. But look at how elegant that is. And that is about 4.5 centimeters. So let me get another one on here. Do a little bit more of this rose quartz. Oops, make sure I use my spacers the way I had intended. Stringing these guys is the slowest part. Hopefully you guys don't mind hanging out for just a little bit while we get this put together. And see if we keep loving it. I am loving it. I'm loving how soft and delicate these pinks are, and highlighted with just the right amount by adding in the slightly more subdued purple tones, but also these milky, dreamy white. And I'm not even thinking about how it looks with the other one, because that's where the third bracelet is going to come in, is to kind of help bridge that gap. This is going to be almost perfect. So if that's the center, I need just a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off with 3 of these guys. Thought for a moment that I'd missed a spacer, but I didn't. And see if this, from the center of that rose quartz, because it's kind of seems to be the center of it, is exactly 8 centimeters, which means I need 1 more centimeter to get to 18. And I think we'll just use some of these. Maybe even separate them with a little daisy spacer. See if this is too much or if it's just right. I mean, I like the way that looks. Let's see what the length is. That takes us just past. So I'm going to remove 1 spacer and the last one, and then we'll do the crimp right there so that it ends like this. And that gives me 9 centimeters from the center of that rose quartz, which is what I needed. I set aside my crimp tubes. Oh, they're underneath my other strand. All right, let's go ahead and crimp this guy. Had that happen once before where the crimp decided to stick inside the magical crimper, and I just did it again, and I'm not sure what that is. I've only ever had that happen one other time. I wonder if it's the heat and humidity in my house, because it is July in Texas, so metals might be playing up a little bit. Had some other tools that were sitting on top of my flush cutters. Okay, and then we've got just the same again, plus crimping. This is where it's like, I really could almost get 3 bracelets from this one, but that other one is not going to be enough. So this is how much is left on the spool. So I wouldn't have room to string and crimp. So I'll set this aside because that is still definitely a usable length for other things like earrings. So let's get some more of this. We're just repeating the same pattern on the other side. So this will go more quickly because I've already figured it out. It's satisfying to see one side come together and then be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Here we go. But I also kind of get overconfident because that's usually where I miss a bead. So you guys watch, because I know if I miss something, you'll see it. Sometimes I catch it. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's worth restringing. Sometimes it's not. But I generally will want it to be correct because I like symmetry. And if I know that something's wrong and I keep looking at it, it will usually bother me. So let's see how this goes. I already messed it up by doing two of the rose quartz right beside each other. Who saw that? Who yelled and said, Jenny, stop, you forgot your crystals, your special pink crystals and the white roundels? Because I definitely did. I just got carried away with doing the rose quartz ones. They really are pretty. This is such a nice rose quartz in that there's so much pigmentation in that stone instead of being just washed out, which you sometimes get with rose quartz. Do I have enough? I do have enough. Okay, good. And then more of these. I was just talking about how I make mistakes because I rush along as I'm making one of those mistakes. Go. Yeah, I think that size-wise, these two match up really well together. And I think we're also going to like how they look together because, as I said, these colors, they just play so well. And I'm excited about the thoughts I have for the middle one. Let's see if my plan works out. I forgot a spacer. I've got a few spacers already over here, but I can pour some more out if I need them. So I do have ideas. Because right now I'm doing a couple of fairly delicate bracelets, but again, this is meant to be a trio. It's meant to stack. I am making it in the same way I did the other trio, so it can also, just like the other trio, be worn as a necklace in 2 different sizes. So that's kind of fun. Okay. I'm just getting the end. I believe that I just need, I have the exact number of daisy spacers out that I need for this one. So comparing these, I should just finish with this last little section here, which is the 3 tiny crystal rondelles. Oops. If you don't lose them. Gosh, these are so small. They're almost like the size of like 11O seed beads. They're just so small. And then we do a purple, a daisy, and another purple. So checking my pattern and then checking my beaded length. This looks right to me. That makes me happy. And my beaded length, before I finish it off, my beaded length is about 17.5 centimeters. So it is a little bit smaller than this other one, but I have, if you can see, I have some room here. So I'm not going to mind if this one fits just a little bit snugger, because I do want them to be able to occupy the same wrist. So, and as you know, our wrists are not uniform from one end to another. So I am fine with this one being a ½ centimeter shorter. If it becomes a problem, I will just add a jump ring, because that's easy enough, and I have those. So curve this a little bit. I realized I'm still zoomed out from when I was showing both boxes. I'm going to just cut in just a tiny bit closer. I'm sorry if that was too far for some of you earlier. I have fixed it now. All right. Get this guy crimped. And that will be the end of bracelet number 2. So this is, you know, Becky does her bracelet bashes where she does, she makes a bracelet design, and she makes the same pattern or uses the same basic design, general design, well, not general, the same design or close to it with like 6 or 7 different bead subscriptions that she's got. I don't have that many bead subscriptions, so I don't know if my bracelet trio is going to become like the Jenny style bracelet bash, where I'm like, hey, let's make a stacking set of bracelets that can all be worn individually and are beautiful, but can also do something more. I don't know. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe it's just what I'll do for a little while. So getting this guy snipped off. And then I'm opening my jump rings this size. So it's kind of a bracelet bash. It's not nearly as big as what Becky does, but it's different. Maybe this is Jenny's style. I don't have as many beads to choose from to make the same bracelet design multiple ways, which I love that series of hers, and I know you guys all love it too. Her bracelet bashes are really fun, but I hope that you enjoy like a similar kind of, hey, let's hang out while I make bracelets, pretty bracelets. And this one is fun because I know there were a lot of people who were interested in seeing what could be done combining these two treasure bags. And I think there's a lot to be done, so I'm excited about that. So I'll get this guy closed up. Close all the way. And then I'm gonna go ahead. So I've got my dolphins on there already. Here's my pink strand. That's lovely as a little duo. But shall we make it a trio? Shall we make it a trio, friends? And these rotate nice and smoothly around. Like I said, this one was a ½ centimeter smaller, but it was not a problem. So I think that's just kind of my range. Somewhere between 17.5 to 18 centimeters beaded length is going to give me the movement that I want on my wrist. I love these. I love these. So how fun. How fun. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so my idea for the combination bracelet is to use some of these fabulous starfish and from both sets, and tie in some more of these colors that also go well with the other ones. So I'm not going to use all 6. I was thinking maybe 3. And because the pink kind of fades in here, maybe we make the pink the star here and use like 2 pink starfish and a green one in the middle. because they get strung this way, so they'll be like this. They're so cute. I love these. I love that they made them with like part of one of the points broken off, just like a real starfish. Like, they're not perfect shaped stars. I think that could be really fun. Either the pink on either side or the green on either side. And I don't know which one I'm leaning towards. I think I'm leaning towards because honestly, the other direction is probably going to end up in a necklace at some point where I've got the remaining 3 starfish being the center of a necklace that will go with this. How fun would that be? Yeah. I'm leaning towards this. I'm leaning towards this. So that's what we're going to do. That is what we're going to do. And so now this time I might add in some other beads that we haven't used yet that are going to tie into these colors. This is a little bit more of a lime green than a mint green. So I'm going to scoop out some of these guys. Yes. Oh, yes. That with the rose quartz. Oh, see, I love this green and this pink together. How delicious is that? That is super delicious. And then because I want it to still tie into the green bracelet we made, maybe we use some of these to kind of ground it a little bit, give them some water to swim in too. We'll do this for the water. Ah, yes. Okay, so let me move some of these other things out of the way, like my strand of crystals. Whoops. I've got, there we go. Okay. I'm not going to use these purple guys because I'm using their green compatriots. Yeah, so this is going to be more what I want to make this bracelet. That's kind of going to bridge the gap between these. Let me get out my other spool of wire because I do not have enough for this necklace or this bracelet on that spool, but I will have enough with a fresh spool. Like I said, this is one of my favorites, so definitely using that. And then we're gonna start with our pink guy. Again, I'm wanting this to be in that same range, that same family as the other. We might use a few of the round spacers on this. I don't feel like the daisy spacers are quite what I'm going for this one. So let me get out a few more of those and let's put this together. But I do think that these starfish, they need to be swimming. So I want to and honestly, this is like perfect for across the top of the wrist. So I'm not putting a lot of space between these. Enough space, yes, but not a lot of space. So I think I might do 3 of these guys for our water. And then, is that too close? No, I don't think that's too close at all. Okay. And then on the other side of this guy is when we'll work in the rest of our pattern. So, our other colors and stuff like that. So I'm excited. I think this is going to be really cute and fun. And I love the sparkle, like sparkling waters. I'm gonna go ahead and put this guy, rose quartz. So that's one way to do it. And I'm okay with that, but I'm not loving that. What if instead of those, because I do want the pink and green right up against each other because I think they're just, what a delicious color combination that is. Maybe I start with the silver and have that be the transition from the blue teal of the water to bright pink and green flotsam. Yes, I like that better. So then we'll have more of those as we add in some more water and then do another bit of that. And yes, 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 yes. This is, it's fun and it's playful, but it's also gonna have some great sparkle. And I think that it is going to be fantastic with the other two bracelets in this trio. But yes, I absolutely love this green with this pink. It is perfect. And they're not from the same bag, but they can be. Oh, you know what I did? And you know what? I'm not mad about it. I might continue that. I only put 2 of the crystal rondelles between these, and I actually like that distance. So I'm going to use 3 between the starfish and the other components, but I think 2 in this repeat is going to be very nice. So it was a mistake, but I'm embracing that mistake and making it a thing. Sometimes a happy accident can lead to an update in your design in a way that is exciting and fun and more satisfying than the original intent. All right, checking out from the center of that. I need just a little bit more. So I did do, maybe I do actually have to do that to hit the right length. Let me look at this again, because I do like the look of the 2. And I almost want to get another repeat in here, but I don't really have room because the starfish are big chunky guys. So from the center of the starfish to what I currently have on my strand is already 8 centimeters, which doesn't leave me much room, certainly not enough to get the pink and green again together. But if I add one of these back in, talked about my happy accident and really liking it and then having to change it. But that's okay. Maybe I will remember that when I am making a necklace with the starfish and I have more room to continue that pattern, because that is the one thing with a bracelet. You only have so much room. And you know what? That just has to be okay sometimes. So now that I've got that other rondelle added back in, and I've finished the other 3 on the side of this, then that is 8.5, which is 17 centimeters dulled. Put a little spacer on the end, and then we'll crimp this side. I'm still very happy. I think that's going to look great when we've got the other side on so that it's balanced out. And my dog, by the way, is being so sweet. I got her settled just before I started recording, and she has just stayed beside me, not getting up and being noisy. So I appreciate that, because it's me and her. This one I'm doing in the afternoon instead of the middle of the night. So, oh no, I was talking about her and she woke up. Hello, my good girl. You're okay. You're okay. She just lifted her head. Hopefully she'll stay put, but if you hear clicky clacky claws, that's why. It's doggo. Oh no. I got distracted and I may not have come back and had that centered properly. Let me work on this a little bit. I might need to redo this crimp. Yeah, this one probably is mangled beyond repair because I came at it at an angle when I went to check on my dog. I am trying a little bit to see if I can smooth it out, but no. So this is a mangled crimp. And you know what we do with those? We just snip them off. I'll start over. I will have a new crimp. But that was complete user error and or the dog's fault because she distracted me. Sometimes life happens. Sometimes life happens. All right, just being more precise and slow, not trying to rush it. Making sure that as I twist it, it stays centered. And there we go. Now I have a little ball of crimp. That is so much better. All right. And then we just get that length again, add enough for crimping, loop and crimp. And then we get 3 more of these rondelles on so we can get our third starfish in place. And I ended up stringing them all the same direction, which is fine by me. I could string it the other way, but I think it might look a little funny. Let me see how I feel about it. No, I actually do want it that way. It feels more organic if they're not all the same shape, pointed the same way, because they go in through one point and between the opposite other two, as you would expect with a star. You can all say hello to Sophie and her clicky claws. I'm sitting at the kitchen table, so she is wandering around the kitchen, sniffing as a dog does. You know, dogs just do. I'm still in love with this color combination over here. I mean, if for no other reason, combine the boxes to get those two together because it's just such a refreshing combination. So cheerful without being like blindingly bright. I love soft pink and green. Sophie, it's time to lay down. This is also around the time that her dad usually comes home from work. So he's got a doctor's appointment, which is one reason why I have like an extra little window outside of my normal window to do this video. Didn't do it as early in the day as I'd originally planned. But this is the time when she starts pacing and looking around for, hey, where's dad? I think I just need two more of these guys. So again, I've been pretty good at pulling those off. I have to get these other tiny rosalines back on their strand, but that's okay. That's a job for cleaning up. But I have almost got my third bracelet done. And And to me, that's exciting. I feel like I'm happy with all of these bracelets individually. Like, how cute is this guy? How cute is this? I just love it. I just love it. Need to get out one more crimp because I mangled one. It happens, and it's okay that it happens. Whoops, I just spilled them all out. Clean that up in a bit. Some of Sophie's soft, crinkly fur. It gets everywhere. That is one of the things when you love fur babies and you also make things, you end up with fur in with the things you make. It's just, I guess, the price we pay. Okay, getting this last crimp on. And I don't want to mangle a crimp at this point because that means restraining the whole thing. So this one needs to be a good crimp. No pressure. That crimp is good. Snip off my excess wire. And our last magnetic clasp. Let's get my, I have some jump rings out, but I don't think I have two that are, I do have two that are the size that I need. Perfect, I don't have to get more out. Because I do have them share space with similarly colored jump rings. So I try not to have them too close in size, like they'll be a couple steps away from each other so that I can easily like differentiate when I spill them out, but I do have them share space. Get this guy on and closed up. It's not closed. There we go. And then we've got our last jump ring. She's my dog, you don't hear her clicking, clacking anymore because she is literally standing nose to the garage door, convinced that he's going to walk through at any moment. She doesn't hear as well anymore, so he sneaks up on her. And she's found out that rather than waiting and listening for Dad, she will literally wait right there at the door so that she doesn't miss him. But then she'll get tired and she'll decide that she wants to come lay down anyway, and then she misses him anyway. She tries, bless her heart, she tries. Okay, so here is bracelet number 3. And I'm just gonna slide this. Whoop, it's attached to my pliers. Move the tools out of the way because we're done with those guys. And I'm sliding this one because he's the one that kind of combines the two bracelets, which do look really nice together as just like a duo that aren't exactly matching, but this is what makes this a trio, what makes this a set. And do you love it? I think I love it. I think I love it. This came together so well. This combination bracelet really does act as a bridge between all of them. It might be a touch loose, but again, this style where you stack them all together, you want it to be a bit loose. That came undone because the magnets get confused when you get that many magnets all together. if you don't like a magnetic clasp, you might try a different one. So they're not like jumping ship and attaching to each other instead. And I was kind of tugging on it, so that's only fair. But, oh God, they're all stacked there, but I am loving this. I am loving this. Okay, let me move some beads out of the way, and we'll give you one last look at all of them together. On the mat. All right. So still have some, but I'll just zoom in so that we have less on the sides. But here is my trio. Here is my trio. We've got our one from the lemon, lime, and mint. We've got the roses and lavender, and then we've got the combination one. And just like the other trio, because they are these magnetic clasps, you can make yourself a choker length necklace from it, or you can attach all three together and make an asymmetric necklace like this. How fun is that? How fun is that? So, yeah. So I'm gonna restore them to their bracelet positions and get one guy here, the middle guy here, that is our trio. That is our trio with magnets who are they're just so attracted to each other. Anyway, I hope you love this. I said I was gonna zoom in and then I didn't. That's a little bit too much. Let's zoom back out. There we go. These are my bracelets, and I hope that you enjoyed coming along for this and making them with me, hopefully, if you have them, or maybe it inspired you to get into your own stash or get more of the treasure bags if they're available, and make your little stacking trio of bracelets. As always, if you're not already subscribed to Becky's channel, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit like, ring the bell so that you get all the notifications. And I hate that. Okay, get the notifications, but ring the bell so you don't miss a video, because you want to see it. It's fun. And then, of course, comment. We love comments. Tell me about your creative process. Tell me what you loved or didn't love about this. And if I did miss something, tell me what I missed, because I think I got it right this time. I think I got it right. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, happy beading. And don't forget to play. Bye.